Betrayal, power, blood. In the world of House of the Dragon, these three words define the very essence of House Targaryen. But among all the betrayals that tore the realm apart, few cut as deep as the one between brothers. Because while history remembers Aemond Targaryen as the one-eyed prince, the warrior who rode the mighty dragon Vhagar, what history doesn't often tell you is that Aemond didn't just fight for his family. He betrayed it. Yes, Aemond secretly coveted the Iron Throne itself. And the seeds of that betrayal were planted long before swords clashed and dragons burned the skies. This is the untold truth behind why Aemond betrayed his brother Aegon, the king he pretended to serve, while secretly desiring his crown. So sit back, because by the end of this, you'll understand that Aemond's greatest enemy wasn't Rhaenyra Targaryen. It was his own blood. To understand Aemond's betrayal, you first have to understand who he was. Aemond wasn't born the heir. He wasn't born the favorite. And he certainly wasn't born the strongest. He was born into a world that already had a golden son, Aegon, destined for glory, groomed by his mother Alicent, and loved by his father King Viserys, or so Aemond believed. But from a young age, Aemond realized that no one truly saw him. While Aegon drank, chased women, and mocked the court, it was Aemond who trained. It was Aemond who studied the history of their house. It was Aemond who sharpened his blade, and his mind. And yet, when the time came to speak of the future, all eyes turned to Aegon. The realm didn't care that Aegon was a drunk. They didn't care that he was reckless. All they saw was a firstborn son, a boy with Targaryen blood, and that was enough. For Aemond, that was the first betrayal. Aemond's resentment grew quietly, like wildfire beneath the floorboards. He trained harder. He studied the art of war. And when his brother mocked him, when even his nephews called him, Aemond the Craven, for not having a dragon, it burned him inside. Then came the moment that changed everything. When Aemond claimed Vhagar, the oldest and most powerful dragon in the world, once ridden by Queen Visenya herself, became his. It was more than just a dragon, it was validation. It was the universe saying, you are destined for greatness. But that greatness came at a cost, the eye he lost to his nephew Lucerys Velaryon. As blood poured down his face that night, Aemond didn't just lose an eye, he gained clarity. He saw the world for what it truly was, a place where weakness would be devoured, where love meant nothing without power. And from that moment, Aemond swore he would never be powerless again. He would never kneel, even to his own brother. Years later, when King Viserys finally died, Aegon was crowned king. And in the shadows, Aemond smiled. But not out of joy, out of calculation. Because deep down, he didn't believe Aegon deserved it. He believed the crown had been stolen, not from Rhaenyra, but from him. Aegon wore the crown, but Aemond embodied it. He was disciplined, fierce, fearless. He had the respect of the soldiers, the admiration of the lords, and the loyalty of the small folk who saw him as the true warrior prince. Meanwhile, Aegon stumbled through drunken nights and shameful scandals, leaving his mother Alicent to clean up his mess. And Aemond watched, silently. He didn't need to humiliate his brother publicly. He just needed to wait. Because kings fall not through open rebellion, but through quiet replacement. Aemond's desire for the throne wasn't born from madness. It was born from logic. He looked at Aegon and saw weakness. He looked at himself and saw strength. He told himself he wasn't coveting the throne, he was protecting it. From incompetence, from drunkenness, from decay, and if that meant one day taking the crown, so be it. His betrayal began not with a sword, but with silence. He started undermining Aegon's authority in small, subtle ways. When Aegon made rash decisions, Aemond quietly advised against them, not to help, but to highlight his brother's foolishness. When Aegon lost the confidence of the nobles, Aemond would step in, calm, calculating, and commanding. He became the man the people respected. And the more the realm admired him, the smaller Aegon appeared. Soon, even the whispers in the Red Keep grew bold. The wrong brother wears the crown. Aemond didn't deny it, he let the rumors live, because they served him. Then came the war, the dance of the dragons. For Aemond, this was the moment he had been waiting for his entire life. The chance to prove himself not just as a prince, but as the true Targaryen king in spirit. Every decision he made was calculated. Every strike, every word, every death was a move on the board. When Aegon was wounded early in the war, his body burned and broken by Rhaenys and Meleys, Aemond didn't grieve. He took command. He ruled in Aegon's name, yes. But make no mistake, he ruled. He commanded the armies. He rode Vhagar into battle. He burned the riverlands with fire and fury, leaving nothing but ash. To the men who followed him, Aemond was no longer the brother of the king, he was the king. And in his mind, he had earned it. But his mother, Alicent, saw the danger in his eyes. She could see the hunger, the same hunger that had once driven their ancestor Maegor the Cruel. She begged him to stay loyal to Aegon, to think of their house. But Aemond's loyalty was gone. He respected his mother, but he didn't believe in her faith. She still clung to the illusion that Aegon could lead. Aemond knew otherwise. And when Aegon returned, barely able to stand, Aemond didn't bow. He simply said, "Brother, the realm is still standing. Because of me." That wasn't gratitude, it was a challenge. This was the moment their brotherhood died. Aegon began to suspect Aemond's true ambitions. Whispers reached him, whispers that Aemond's men called him the dragon who should have been king. And those whispers drove Aegon mad with paranoia. He began to lash out, drinking even more, surrounding himself with flatterers who told him what he wanted to hear. He started plotting ways to sideline his brother, to humiliate him publicly. But Aemond was always one step ahead. When Aegon tried to reassert control, Aemond made sure to remind everyone who truly held the power. He didn't need the Iron Throne, not yet. Because in truth, he already ruled from the saddle of Vhagar. Kings sit on thrones. Conquerors burn them. Aemond's betrayal wasn't one act. It was a slow corrosion, a steady unraveling of brotherhood. It's said that Aegon once confronted him in private, shouting, "You want my crown?" And Aemond, calm and unflinching, simply replied, "If I wanted it, brother, you'd already be dead." That's the terrifying truth. Aemond could have killed Aegon at any time. But he didn't, because Aemond didn't crave the title, he craved the recognition. He wanted the realm to see that he was the one who truly deserved the Iron Throne. To him, killing Aegon would make him a usurper. Letting Aegon live made him a shadow king, the man who ruled without the burden of the crown. He wanted the world to know that while Aegon wore the crown, Aemond earned it. But like all betrayals born of pride, it was only a matter of time before it consumed him. As the war raged on, Aemond became increasingly reckless. He burned towns not for strategy, but for vengeance. He hunted Rhaenyra's allies with obsessive cruelty. The moment he killed his nephew Lucerys, the boy who took his eye, he crossed a line he could never return from. That act wasn't war, it was revenge. It was the manifestation of everything dark that had been festering inside him. And deep down, he knew it. After Lucerys' death, Aemond didn't return to his brother or his mother. He disappeared for weeks, alone with Vhagar, burning the riverlands, drowning his guilt in fire. It was during those days that his ambition turned into madness. He began to imagine himself not as the king's brother, but as the last true Targaryen warrior. The heir to Maegor, the dragon reborn, and from that point, he no longer cared whether Aegon lived or died.